Hello everybody, Justin with Lucky8 Off-Road, and I've got a fun one for you today. The new Defender is absolutely amazing, but one of the complaints that we have is there's not a lot of light in the back, and that's why we've got this. The Lucky8 cargo area light. And you're gonna say to yourself, I've seen these have been out, and what's the big deal? Well, here's the big deal. It's got a white strip in it to give you the maximum amount of light back there. And if you touch it, you can turn it off. So if you're trying to work in the back and the light is blinding you, or we go to a dim yellow. This will help keep any of the bugs from flying into your car. If you're like me, can't stand insects or dirt inside the vehicle. Or we've got red. You're doing something at night and you don't want to disturb the whole campsite. So I'm going to show you how to install our new cargo bay light. Roll the intro and we'll meet back here. All right, before we get to the nitty-gritty, I'm dedicating this video to the Gulf Coast Land Rover Club. It is run by Charles Bell, one of the nicest guys I've ever met in the Land Rover community. So we're gonna put him up here on the lift and then we'll get right to work. First thing we're gonna wanna do is pop out this light. You can use a screwdriver. I can actually even get my thumbnail in there and pop it out. It's got a little clip here that we're gonna push and that'll release the light. You can set that aside, or what I like to do is leave it there. That way you don't drop the little cable down until we're ready to plug in. The next thing to do is to move on up here. You want to locate your privacy shade little clip here. What we're going to want to do is get it at a funny angle. And you pop it off like so. If you notice, when it's like this, it won't work. And when it's fully closed, it won't. It has to be at a little angle and it'll slide right out just like that. We don't want to lose it. Set it aside. Then we're going to get a T30. There's little Torx in here. I'm going to unscrew that. Oh boy, don't lose it. Next, we're going to wiggle this out. This is kind of clipped in. That'll give us access to this little area. We're going to be able to drop our wire down to the outlet that we already pulled apart. Moving right along, I'm going to remove this striker. If you get real lucky and fish, sometimes you don't have to, but I find it way easier to get this out of the way. It is a T, what do we got here? T35, I believe. Oh my goodness, T40. I'm going to pop these out. And reference when you're putting it back together, one side's going to be all scuffed up, the other side isn't. I do believe it can go in either way, but I always put it back in with the scuffed up side facing out. Pull that out of the way. And then down here is a little clip. It just gently pops off. What that's going to do is give us access to pull this rubber trim out of the way and then gently pop this out. Okay, the reason we've loosened all this up is so we can get this rubber trim piece folded out of the way, and then we can gently, and I mean gently, don't prove to your neighbors how strong you are, we're going to pull this back a little bit. That way we can access the inside with our hand. I'm using a piece of number 10 electrical wire, but pretty much anything that you've got to fish down from this interior panel, which I'll show you next. So we're going to drop I'm using my little wire here, drop it down. I've been lucky many times in the past and I just got it right here, but sometimes with the two pieces of plastic made up, the new harness gets stuck. There's also wires in there. So just by moving this rubber trim and popping that off, you can now see on the inside what's going on. Makes your life way easier. And let's face it, it was 2 Torx, super easy. So come on back inside with me. I'll show you where I dropped this down and we're almost done. right here where this plastic trim is, the piece that we kind of pulled off, that top section, the headliner hides behind it, and it's very soft right here. It's just super soft. So we can drop our fish down it without damaging it. If you jam anything into the headliner, it's going to scar it, and that'll make me cry. Just going to gently drop the fish down. Okay, I can hear it. It's about here. I'm going to pull the panel out, see what's going on. There's my wire. Got my wire. Next up, I'm going to tape on our wiring harness. I'm going to bring that down, then I'll have it here, and then I can redirect it right in. All right, we are so close. I've got my fish, my wiring harness. Next thing I'm going to do is pull the plastic back a tiny bit like that and fish through to here to get the wiring harness out by the light. Bingo! Only a couple more steps left. Next thing to do is put the light in place. The little tabs here have a cutout for it, and they slide right behind this factory plastic. The light is the length of the factory plastic and, the factory plastic center section, and the two trim pieces on the side are where these lock into. I'll bring the camera in so you can see how they snap into place. Super easy, and then once it's in place, I tuck the wire behind the trim, and then I think all we have left to do is plug it in. All right, let's see if I can do this backwards, staring into the light. Here's one of the little clips. Here's the seam in the plastic. Just gonna gently pull that down a smidge. Careful on the headliner. Here, click into place. Same thing here. Okay, this will allow you to move it side to side, but if you hop the track, it's gonna be off center like that. So there we go, perfect, locked right in. And then I take this wire, which I've managed to wiggle free in all this excitement. That tucks in. We just hide it behind the plastic. Like so. Bingo bongo. Let's move down here and power this up. All right, down here at the light, we're just gonna push this little clip in, and the light will slide out. On your new wiring harness, you're going to have two connections. This is the main connection. It's this little rectangular piece that slides in place. Listen for the click. That is now in place. And the little jumper connects to the light. So, oh boy. There we go. We've got that all together. Gently put the harness inside. There's plenty of room down here. No need to go crazy. And drop the light back in. Oh, wrong way. Drop the light back in. There we go. Light in and working. We're just going to test the functions. Off. Yellow, keep those bugs away. Red, easy reading at night. Don't disrupt the campsite. And back to white. That's pretty much it for the video. All you have to do is bolt everything back together. I'm not going to bore you guys with it. It's only a couple of torques here and there. Just make sure you realign the rubber trim correctly. And that is that. If you get any other questions or you feel I left something out, hit me up in the comments. I'll try to respond. And on that, see you on the next one.